Moon shining bright tonight. I wish that I could stay here for life. I wish that I could stay here, stay here, stay here. I wish that I could stay here, stay here, stay here. Baby girl, I wish that I could stay here.
This plot, you'll be able to probably get one unit in there, look. So let's save that now, put that in plot. So anything from these types of plots here, where we can get a single dwelling, we can create a new column. That's 1.4 acres, so it's slightly bigger, but you can see it's surrounded by trees here. So the actual sort of main build area is probably only an acre, if not smaller. Sometimes running filters is just one strategy. You should still go into those postcodes and search those areas like this, look. So for example, this is a lovely farm in Fordcombe. Look, we might want to send a letter to this one. This is a really, really good location. I mean, look at that, look.
Yeah.
So what is this?
So this is our land business that we started last year.
Called Plot.
Called Plot, yeah, Plot Partners. But we've almost fallen into this self-build model, where like all the leads that are coming through are ads, which is like a land valuation tool. So people are just like clicking on it, filling in their details, they haven't got to talk to no one, and they get like a range of an estimate of what that land could be worth, and that's built on all our financials of like Matfield, Pallet Wood, some appraisals from like Michael's side. And so we've almost like built that model, so it gives an accurate enough valuation. That's why we put a range, because until we actually get on site and we look at everything, we can't be too more accurate. So it's got this valuation tool here. That development costs on these size sites are very expensive, and so the land value that you'll get will be a lot lower. But the self-build model in areas like this, where there's high demand of self-build registrations, and they're small 1 to 4 units, are very desirable for people to buy and build out themselves. And so what you have to do is get planning, and then you basically can take a larger deposit, like 25%, and that can forward fund the infrastructure costs of like the road going in or the utilities to the plot. And that's basically all you've got to do. Get your infrastructure in to allow them to then just buy that plot, and then they build. What everyone else is doing, but to disrupt the sector in terms of...
Well, you come at it with a different angle, which I think people should always do whenever they're starting anything.
Exactly that, mate. And we feel that modern communities no longer serve the sort of modern person, and that means like, where are these anchor points within the community that you can go and gather or socialise and network and meet new people.
Like all the third spaces and those kind of things.
Exactly, mate. So in the rural setting, you don't get any of that. This is one of examples that we're working on. So it's 36 houses, but within, we've designed the houses to cluster around the road, so we can sort of emphasise more on the landscape and nature.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And then we have these like anchor points. So like this bit at the back is like fitness concept. This is baker's third space, event space, classes, talks, and then this is like a general store, restaurants, supper clubs. And we will operate those hospitality concepts. So it's not like we build the houses and then we just lease it to any Tom, Dick and Harry. We will build those houses, reinvest the profit back in the site to operate these concepts. And as we grow our development business, we also grow our hospitality brand. Should we go and see him? Let's go and see what he's doing around up to.
I'm being serious.
These are lovely. Look at these, Maximus.
What have we got here?
That is an Egyptian limestone.
I'm very particular about where I'm placing it.
Walking into a woman's world now.
Bit of Egyptian limestone, little Tuscan
Turkey.
I wish that I could stay here, stay here, stay here. I wish that I could stay here, stay here, stay here. Baby girl, I wish that I could still.
So our land business plot, this is one of the sites that we're working on, so a nice single unit plot. And we see this being more desirable for a self-build model. And what we've done, Max, with that business is we've created a really interesting land valuation tool, so someone can get their land value as an estimate at a click of a few buttons. You know, we basically develop that model and that calculator by feeding it and training it with a lot of information that we have in terms of like accurate costs of building stuff out, so someone can instantly click on that ad or click online to our website and get an estimate in terms of a range of what that land could be worth. And that's been really good. You know, that's brought in quite a few leads since we've been running that. And we've almost like fallen into this sort of self-build model, these lovely single plots in prime locations. And so for people that want to know what they could do with a spare bit of land but don't know where to start, the calculator is a great place to start. All organic. A little bit of apple cider vinegar, mate.
Oh, lovely. Organic?
Yeah.
Organic.
Do you know what this is good for?
What's that good for?
Good healthy fats.
Good healthy fats.
Give that a little bit mix there, look. A little drizzle on that one, son. A little drizzle on that one, bro.
Fantastic, look at that.
Oh, I've got to get some sea salt. So my brief to him on these ideas, well, how do I sell the location houses without showing the houses and location? So we wanted to create a set of campaigns that could be relatable and emotional and create a bit of a nostalgic vibe. So we focus on family, and I think that sits quite nice across the different demographics of actually people that buy the houses in terms of like what sizes, you know, are they more established, larger families, so they want a 5-bed, are they first time buyers, are they, you know, a young family that just, you know, have a young baby and they're just sort of, you know, maturing from that first time house, that first house, to the next stage into a sort of, you know, a bigger area, bigger space. So this one is a new family moving in, young excited adults, first time buyers that seek privacy and independence. So it's all about like that excitement of buying your first house, that next step in your sort of in relationship.
There must be something I can say to make you look my way. There must be something I can do to make you love me too. You have aroused my desire, my soul is on fire for your sweet love and tenderness.
Yeah, that's right.
You leave me on.
So these are actual real prototypes that we're going to put in there, like that, wallop, and then that goes on top of there, like so.
And what for? Sampling?
Yeah, so when we send it out, it's all nicely branded, and then a box like this, for example, that gets put on there like that, so it's all really nicely branded. And then here we've got a simple thank you, so we can write a personal note if we want to write a personal one. God, they're a nice thickness, isn't they?
I know. Fancy, aren't they?
You fancy, huh? And then this one is already pre-printed with a code.
Oh, nice.
So if you're a retail customer, you just order a sample from us, just put that in the box, and you can use that to get sample 5. Yeah, they get 5% off their order. It's a little incentive. So just leveling up our packaging, mate, to make it all look a bit more fancy. And these will also go on our scrap one of stone sample. This will go on here, look.
Nice. Where are we off to now?
We're going to go and look at one of our largest sites that we pitched last week. I haven't actually been over there myself yet to look at the land, but we need to get our wellies on and go for a Nice walk in the sunshine, Maximus. Let's roll, baby.
I wish that I could stay up for life.
What's
I wish that I could still.
You know, we've now got the 9 houses in for planning. That's due back at the end of this month. Fingers crossed that's all positive. There's multiple sites that we've got across, like, you know, entering into contract stage, early conversations. We pitched one 2 weeks ago, which is sort of like a more progressive vision of like how communities should be built, which we're going to go and see now. It's the first time I've actually been on site. So we're going to go and view that. That's a larger one. That's for 36 houses and 3 amenity spaces. And I'll chat a bit more when we're actually on the site. And in Plot, our land business has been absolutely flying. Luke built a really cool land calculator tool which can sort of give someone a rough estimate on that land. Plot is our land business. So for Corker Brothers, we want very specific, selective, prime sites that we would ourselves want to live in. And outside of that, there's still so much opportunity to be able to take things through the planning process and help people and assist people on that journey of unlocking value of their land. And so I partnered with a good mate of mine who exited his marketing company a few years ago. So they come into the industry like us from a completely different background, completely fresh perspective, loads of experience in tech and marketing. So we feel that we have a real unique skill set to come into that industry and modernise it by, you know, better brand positioning, better marketing, better tech behind the scenes, so we can be a lot slicker, you know, implementing AI into like how we appraise things and how we bring leads and etc. And so predominantly, when we first started out with that business, we didn't really have a set criteria that we would really zone in on focus. We had like certain criteria in terms of like site size, areas that we wanted to look into. But what's transpired over the last 3 months is actually we've almost like fallen into this self-build category, where people that are coming through on leads through the land estimation calculator tool that we created are like single plots, so from 1 dwelling up to 6-8 dwellings in prime locations that we feel are perfect for the self-build model. And the more we went down that rabbit hole and sort of got into like the incentives around self-builds and the lack of self-builds in this area, as well as like, you know, how they can be exempt for certain elements of costs of like traditional developer costs, like B&G offset or seal payments. Like for those smaller sites, it's real incentive for the landowner to go along that pathway and that option. So we're sort of, you know, we're developers, but we're also a land partner, if you like, on how to unlock the value of your land. And what we want to do is really disrupt the sector in that space of becoming the #1 brand. So if you wanted to go and move house, but you wanted to find a plot and build your dream house, you could basically come to us and we would help you along that process. So you can select your plot in terms of design or in terms of location or where you want to live, and we would help you complete along that journey by, you know, providing self-build mortgage providers or, you know, everything that you need in terms of information, experience and knowledge and execution to deliver your dream house. If you want diversity in your gut, you have to feed the current bacteria you've got.
Yeah.
This is potentially the largest site that we're currently working on, which we're going to bring forward our sort of more forward-thinking concept of like a modern community. So yeah, basically this is sort of like the boundary line, and everything that section around there will be housing. Well, all housing. The density in this site is only 36 units, and we've clustered them around the road. So like we've prioritised the landscaping. So when you actually look at the site plan that we've done, that you can see that these cluster of houses around the roads here. So this is Baker's third space, like, so you can work there.
Yeah.
You can come. There's also event space there, so like for the local community, they can come and do classes, talks, consultations, wherever it is, parties. This is a restaurant and general store, so that's all owned and operated by us. This is a fitness concept here, and so we allow for all this openness and this nature to be able to grow amongst the sort of community. But what it does is these pedestrian footpaths that we've created throughout the site draws the existing village out. And we want to create anchor points throughout the development where people can gather and socialise and connect with people. It would be nice for number 1 to know number 36. You can go and meet that person by just going to get a coffee down the Baker's. But what we've done here in the middle section is create this like lovely public common as a core anchor point to the development. So when the sun's out, like today, you can come and sit. You can sit here amongst the gardens and the planting that we're going to create. You can get a coffee, pastry from the Baker's after a morning run. You can even get your laptop out and finish a quick bit of work, bit of focus time there, Max, and then sit amongst here, watch the kids play and just relax, mate. Bloody beautiful.
Nice.
As soon as it's built, mate, I think me and you'll be moving here, won't we?
I think so.
So today, it's just, I've never actually been on site. We pitched this one last week. So we're just waiting to hear back from the landowner, but we're fairly confident and positive that they'll be aligned with us, because the land's been in the family for generations, and instead of just selling it off for a low density of units, actually they can be part of a legacy on their land that could set precedent for the sort of future development of how communities should be built. So you can have a fitness concept just here, and so you'll be able to, as part of your membership, you'll get a nice bike. All right, jump on your bike, cycle down here. You can go right down there on your bike and that way. How nice is that? Imagine living here and doing that.
That's crazy. You've had this concept in your head for like quite a few years, you were saying?
Yeah, well, since we sort of finished Matfield, really, and understand, where can we position ourselves, not only as a brand, but as a forward-thinking, progressive company who likes to innovate and, has that nature in the way they think, of where to position our product, our idea, our mission. And that is really to modernise how communities are built. And I feel that in the rural setting where we are, you're so dependent on cars.
Yeah.
And when the government launched a connectivity tour at the end of last year, and so basically what you can now see is how dependent a village is on through certain categories. So how dependent are they on a car for health? So that area might not have a GP practice. It might not have a dentist. It might not have a gym. How dependent are they on leisure? Do they have anywhere to, I don't know, go and have a swim or whatever that may be? It could be a sports recreation ground, etc. Is there any general stores? Is there any news agents? What does that village and area need to make it less dependent on cars? And so basically all the ideas that we put forward are generated. I first looked through that data and then generated from that data. We come up with the concepts, we come up with the ideas, and then we feed that back into the model to tell us how aligned those ideas and concepts is with that data in terms of car dependency. And the data and all the concepts that we create there is almost creating a self-sufficient micro community where less and less dependency on cars will happen.
Yeah.
But how nice is that?
It's lovely.